Okay, we ready? Let's do this thing. Welcome to the Alliance Group podcast, everybody. We have a very special guest today, Miss Annabella Aguilar from Five Rings Financial. You are doing a nationwide tour right now, so you came to us, I think, from Idaho, but you live...
Well, actually, I don't know where I live right now.
Kind of a nomad, or nomad agent.
Yeah, a digital nomad agent. Actually, I was in North Carolina, Seattle, and then Seattle, Idaho, Colorado, and here.
Oh, my goodness. So she is a jet-setting agent that is specializing in the Hispanic market, the Latino market, which is something that we're going to talk about. But first of all, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you for receiving me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're always happy to have you. Got a lot of video content shot with Travis and Josh today, so you guys will be seeing that on Annabella's socials very soon. So let's talk about what I want to get into today, which is basically you. Obviously, you are from Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you are kind of entering, the next half of 2023 and going into 2024. You have a very concerted plan to try to engage and penetrate the Latino market in this country. Tell us about the challenges that you've had with that, because the Latino population, as we were talking about earlier, there are some kind of specific challenges that come with that market. What are some of those challenges?
Well, first of all, this community is Hispanic and Latin.
Right.
That is totally different. Hispanics is everybody who speaks Spanish.
Right.
And Latins are whoever lives in Latin America.
Right.
So saying that means that Spanish is not just, the big Spanish language.
Right.
It's a bunch of different cultures that make a little bit difficult everything, right?
Right.
Because, for example, if you're going to speak with someone or if you're going to talk about the money 101 and you're going to explain things, you have to translate not just the language, but you have to translate the culture too.
Right.
So it's not like I'm translating to just one culture. I need to include things about different kind of cultures that get all together in a...
So there are different dialects. A lot of people, I did not realize before I started working at Alliance Group and we started to try to translate some of our marketing material, I became aware very quickly that there are different dialects and kind of styles of language within the Spanish language. Cuban Spanish is not the same as Mexican Spanish, is not the same as other types of Spanish. So not only are you dealing with having to go between languages and dialects and kind of styles of communication, but you're having to go in between cultures, as you're saying. So
cultures and taboos about money. And then you have to deal with other things like the taboos, the cultures, the superstitions, the religions. There are a lot of things around the world of the life insurance that you have to be very careful to who you are talking about.
Right.
And the other thing is that trust. It is huge, the thing in trust, because an American will probably could buy from a Latin person, because I have clients that are American, right?
Sure.
But for a Latin or Hispanic person, buy from an American is very difficult just because of the trust.
Uh-huh.
They deal with a serious thing that they don't feel identified with Americans, because, for example, if I tell you that I just have an IT number and you don't know what an IT number is,
right.
Yeah?
Yep.
If I tell you that, no, I have these immigration papers, but I'm waiting for this because of this specific, I have DACA. And what DACA is, you know?
Right,
It is a bunch of things that you have to learn. And the only way is being an immigrant too.
Right.
When you are an immigrant and you pass for all of those situations,
I imagine it's not only the knowledge of maybe what DACA is and what an ITIN is, but also the experience of having gone through it so that you can actually relate to them.
Exactly, how they feel about it.
Right.
So when they sit with you, the first thing that they are looking for is how I'm feeling with this person. Do I trust her?
Right.
Can I trust her? Is she talking to me enough for me to say that I have $100,000 under the mattress, for example?
Right.
So that's another thing that for Americans is something totally unbelievable. How people is going to have money, that amount of money under the mattress.
Right, yeah.
But for them it's normal because they don't trust.
Well, it's something that we talked about earlier as well. There's actually a couple things that I want to get into. So first of all, we talked about superstitions. My understanding is that there are segments of the Latino and the Hispanic culture that they think that life insurance is kind of, if you buy life insurance, it kind of might be a curse. So it's a bit of a taboo subject. That has been a challenge that you were talking about that you have had to overcome. How are you doing that, and what do you think is the key to kind of getting past this kind of very deep-rooted cultural attitude toward what we do, which is life insurance?
Well, I think the most important thing is empathy.
Right.
So I am an immigrant too.
Right.
And my story is big and huge, like every immigrant, right?
Right.
And as soon as I have empathy for them and I show to them that I passed the same things that they passed and that it was not easy for me and that nowadays I am a U.S. citizen, but I have to do all the things that they are doing right now, that I know how they feel, that I know the tears, the money, everything involved. I think that put their wall down.
Yeah.
And then with that empathy, I find a way to really connect with them. If you don't connect with the Hispanic and Latino community, you are not going to sell a bit.
Right.
Because we need to feel secure, and we have a lot of insecurity in terms of that we are coming from another country and we don't know how this country works. We don't know anything about the bank or the insurance companies or the stock market. So we don't know, right? So one of the difference for us, for example, doing the Money 101 is that it's not just a translation in Spanish and English, it's the translation in cultures and to be aware that we have to explain things that are not normal for immigrants.
Right.
And everything, of course, I cannot generalize because everything is depending on the economical situation, the educational situation. So it is different steps, right, for different immigrants and different countries and different cultures.
Yes.
So, but as soon as I found this common situation that I can go there and have empathy about what they're living. Sometimes people cry on the desk talking with me, you know. So when I have that empathy with them, they start opening and the connection start working. And once the connection is there, they believe what I'm saying because they said, okay, you are like us, you came here, you learned all of this, and now you are trying to help me, now I trust you.
It is a really unique perspective that you have and an advantage that you have.
And a big challenge.
Still a very big challenge, but you do have a leg up, so to speak, in that market, being that you can relate to them. They can say, hey, here's someone who has gone through what I've gone through. She understands what I'm going through. And as you said, that tends to kind of bring those walls down. There is a huge market and a huge opportunity in this country. We were also talking before this, the Hispanic market.
62.9 million.
You can't really call it a minority anymore.
Yeah, it's not.
Right?
Actually, it's supposed that is the biggest minority, but it is a minority.
Right.
I don't think
it
so.
just seems like the wrong word because this is a massive group that we're talking about. Yeah. And as you were also pointing out, this isn't a group that doesn't know how to make money. This isn't a group that is, you know, that's always going to be low income or barely able to afford things.
All the contrary, the opposite, because we know how to do money. Why we came to this country and we know very well how to do money? Because money for us is a necessity, is a need.
Right.
We really need to make money because if not, everything is gone, right?
Right.
So we learn how to do money, but what we need to understand is that we have to put quality of life together with that ability to make money. Because what's happened is that then we do a lot of money, but we don't have time for anything else.
Right.
We don't have quality of life. We don't have time for absolutely anything, and we are totally exhausted.
Right.
So the beauty about I totally love what I do, Samuel, and the reason why I love what I do is that I have the privilege and the honor to came to this country to raise my kids here and to learn all of the things that I've been learning through years and years. I already have like a 17 years in this industry.
Wow.
So for me, it's like a pay it forward to them.
Right.
I have two big passions. One is help and teach. I love to teach.
Yes.
And financial education. So when I found my passion and really find a way to interlace all of that, that has been amazing for me because I feel very privileged to be in this position where I can go to a place, teach a Money 101, sit with people and have the privilege to be able to help them and to connect with them to really put a little grain of sand and change their life $1 at a time.
Right. So, it's an amazing opportunity for you, and
it is.
You are making the most of it, and it's one thing that we talked about. A question that you get a lot. This was something that we actually covered and shot some material on in the studio today to help educate your market about that. What you mentioned earlier, that ITIN number. I would imagine that a lot of the Hispanic and Latino populations, they're a little worried that they might not be able to work with you. They might not be able to get some of these things, this life insurance, these IULs for kids. They might not be able to do all of that because they don't have a Social Security number. Mm-hmm. They only have an ITIN. But one very important message that you talked about getting out there that you need to make sure that all of them understand is that if you have an ITIN, you can be considered for life insurance just like any American-born, citizen with a Social Security number and everything, right?
Yeah, not all the companies, but some of the companies that we represent, they was like a U.S. citizen, green card, residence, or any permanent valid visa. Right? So that was like the initial things. And then the companies start seeing like they really need to diversify and open a space for people who've been living here for years and years
they're
and
paying
years.
Taxes, they're working,
and everything.
They're providing for their families.
Exactly.
They deserve to be considered
so
for these sorts of things.
Nowadays, if you have an ITIN number, it doesn't matter that you don't have Social Security number. It doesn't matter that you don't have a driver license. It doesn't matter that you don't have permit to work in the United States. But if you've been living here for more than 8-10 months, and you have an ITIN number, you can qualify. Actually, I just commented to you that I just got a couple of person approved just with ITIN number.
And a lot of, not only the Hispanic Latino community is surprised by this, but also agents have been surprised by this. We just did a webinar with one of our carriers who was telling us, hey, if they have an ITIN, they could be considered just like anybody else. And I saw about half the agents' faces on that webinar be like, what, really? This is a huge opportunity and something that obviously comes at a very good time as you are starting to do this kind of nationwide tour to try to go to different places and try to make inroads into those communities. Because
let's say that I stay in Florida, right? I used to be in Florida. Let's say that I stay there. Just in Florida, there are more than 500,000 only Venezuelans.
Wow.
That means that it will take me like 2,000 years just to get to all the Venezuelans. So I decided that I'm going to be around the country nationwide looking for those little spaces where the Latins and Hispanic are, making alliance with other agencies, making anything that is possible just to get to my mission, that is change the life of the Latins and Hispanics who lives in the United States.
That's fantastic. And you have a name for this. It's the 2024 nation. What is it? What are you calling it?
2023 Spanish Ambassador Tour.
Spanish Ambassador Tour. I love it. I like the ring of that. So it is a huge opportunity. So tell me about how you are changing. You referenced earlier the Money 101 presentation. This is a very popular presentation that was popularized by Mike Wilk and Five Rings Financial, teaching the average American how money works, right? You have made some changes to that, not just translating that presentation, but also incorporating a little bit what we were talking about to help bring those walls down in the Hispanic community. What are some of those things that you've changed about the message to help relate more to the Hispanic and the Latino population? What are some examples?
For me, being a financial consultant, it is not just to sell a product.
Right.
For me, it's all about teaching, educating, helping you, really helping you. I can tell you some that I have clients that I sit with them and I teach them a bunch of things that they need to know just before to decide to buy a product, and then they didn't buy. But they are there. 2 years after, they call me back and they said, Anabela, I did everything that you told me. Thank you so much. My life has changed in every way that you can imagine. I'm ready for that product. And they buy the product. And for me, that's my purpose. That's my motive. That's what drives me to do what I do every day and wake up early in the morning and stay until very late at night when it's necessary, like last night, for example, preparing for today, right? So for me, the fact that my Money 101 in Spanish has, let's say, an introduction of how to manage your mentality about money,
right?
How to manage your habits about money,
right?
How to manage your
relationship with
your
money.
relationship with money and the things that you think about it in order to be able to do the things that you need to do in order to change something. You know?
Right.
So for me, that's basic and it's important. And then when I start talking about compound interest and that kind of things, I need to go deeper in what the 72 rule is,
right?
What a 401k, IRA, Roth IRA are, because if you are an immigrant, not necessarily you know what those are.
They don't know what those are. Those are government programs. The Roth IRA, very much a U.S. thing.
And they don't have any idea how a tax shelter account works or what's the difference if I put my money here or there in terms of taxes.
Right.
So they don't know. So if I take seriously what I am doing, I need to go deep in all of the things that they don't know.
Right.
And instead of just go and try to sell a product will be so easy. I am very good selling everything that you put in my hands. It doesn't matter. I just need to believe in that and I will sell it.
Right.
But that's not my story, because I don't know if you know, but when I started in this business, I started like captive. And being a captive, I felt so uncomfortable because I learned, I would say, 3 things. The first one was I need to be independent. The second one was I won't never sell any product that is not secure, that is variable. I don't want to sell variables. And the third thing was, okay, I want to look for my client first. It doesn't matter. I know that the commission could be double of what I do, depending on how I design the policy, but I don't care about that.
Do what's best for the client every time.
Because I'm doing whatever I think is best for me if I were the client, and I'm translating that to them.
Right.
Because if I really love my community, I have to take care of them.
Of course.
I have to be honest with myself, and I have to do the thing in the right way, looking for the client. So
like you said, sometimes that means not necessarily selling them something right now because they are not ready. It isn't the right time for them.
But they need our help anyway.
You help them, you educate them, you lay the groundwork.
And most people will say, I'm not going to lose the time with them. They are not ready.
Right.
Nets. Right. But no, I stay with them. I believe in karma. I believe in the universe, and I believe in God. And I know that everything that I do with that client that is not going to buy now or maybe in 2 or 3 years, that client is going to refer me to another one and to another one and to another one that is going to bring me my money now.
Right.
So I totally believe that when you work for a cause and with a purpose, the money comes by itself.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter that I don't earn the amount of money that I could be earning today, but I know that the abundance is going to be infinite because I'm working this way and I love the way that I do it.
That's fantastic that you do it that way, and your clients definitely appreciate that about you, I'm sure. So let's go back and talk about getting back into, you mentioned there's a lot of clients who actually literally have money under their mattress, right? Under their mattress because, number one, you talked about it earlier, they just don't know what to do with it, and they don't have that that knowledge, and they're aware that they don't have that knowledge. So they can't trust in putting this money even in a bank or just a simple checking account or savings account. It's under their mattresses, and that is how you kind of know this person is in need of my help, because they're searching for that education.
Exactly. It is totally shocked. Talk to them, and that they say, well, I don't have a checking account. And a savings? No, I don't have a saving account. But do you have any money? Do you have any emergency fund? Well, I've been keeping my money at home. And because I already, connected with them, and I ask, do you have your money under your mattress? And they laugh.
They're like, who told you?
Laugh. Exactly. They laugh, and they said, 2 weeks ago, somebody told me I have $100,000 under my mattress.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And another one said, well, my mom gets sick, and I used to have 40,000, but now I only have 15,000 because I use 25,000 for the clinic.
Wow.
It is kind of like I really want to help you, because that money is not earning anything. And Warren Buffett say it, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely.
If you don't earn, you're losing.
Right, and especially these days with inflation doing what it is, that money's not only gaining interest, it's losing value, because the value of the dollar is going down as inflation continues to rise.
So for me, it's a winning that I talk with someone like them, and they trust me, and they say, okay, I'm going to start. It doesn't matter that they are starting a plan just for $5 a day. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. But at least they are doing something. They are protecting their family. They have living benefit. They are thinking in their kids. This morning, somebody told me, no, I'm not going to do living benefit, but I'm going to do the $100 for each one of my kids. So that was weird, but that's a beginning. They are thinking on college. They
Right.
are thinking the kids need to have a different life than the life that I had.
Right.
The kids need to have the opportunities that I didn't have. So they are still getting there.
You've made progress with that client, right?
Exactly.
They now get to the point where through your education they see the value in saving for college. You might need to go back and revisit the importance of the life insurance part, but that is progress, right? They're already better than how you found them.
And they at least are open to sit with me and talk about it.
Right. Right.
And one thing that I don't like to do ever is pressure. Mm-hmm. Some people get mad at me. Why you didn't do this and that? I don't care. I'm not going to pressure. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to pressure. I'm going in their rhythm. And if I'm going, at the beginning of my career with other broker that I was, I learned that I have to sell. And it doesn't matter what. The biggest commission.
Push.
And you have to come back with the...
Yeah. Close the sale. Right?
No.
Right.
No. If I can, I won't close the sale in the first, and the second, and the third appointment. Because when I close the sale, it's because you raised your hand and you told me, thank you, Anabela. I learned and I realized that this could help me or my kids or my husband, and I want it. So I want that when they sign and when they give me the information, the documents and everything, they are sure of what they are doing.
They want it.
Because they really want it.
Right. That's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful way of going about business, and not the easiest way, right? Because it would be a lot quicker for you to try to just, employ some of those closing methods that we see on YouTube or whatever from the big, hotshot sales guys and close it on that first call and then move on to the next call. But you want to take your time and make sure that, again, in the client's rhythm, and that they get to a point where they're educated enough to where they're not giving in to you and your pressure, but instead they are seeing the value and they're saying, I want that for myself.
And I'm famous with my clients that I give money back.
Money back.
If the money that you give me, it doesn't make the policy works in the way that I think it should be and it's on your detriment, I will tell you no. Take this and let's start with this, and then next year you give me this.
Wow.
And then the result of that is the consequence of that is that they refer me.
Right.
I've been doing, the last 2 years, I've been traveling around the world, and I've been doing business almost 100% with referrals of my own clients. So that's amazing. That's for me say a lot. That's for me make me feel like wow. you are doing what you have to do. You are doing the right thing. You are going through the right path because people love the way that you, the philosophy that you use to work and to treat people and to respect the times of others. It's not my time, it's in their time. If I'm really want to change their life in some way, I have to do it in their time.
Yeah. So that's excellent. So for anybody watching who might think specifically what services can Annabella help me with? We've already talked about living benefits life insurance, right? The new kind of life insurance that you don't have to die to use. You can, life insurance that will pay out if you pass away, but also you can get your hands on money, God forbid, if you have a cancer diagnosis, heart attack, stroke, anything like that. It's a huge part of what we do at Alliance Group, a huge part of what Five Rings Financial does, and a huge part of what you do as well. What other things outside of just living benefits life insurance are you helping your clients with? We have referred to some of them.
Yeah, I'm being helping with the living benefits, with funds for college. That's huge. I have a beautiful comparison of everything, all the options that you have and how everything works, because I have the experience to have the 2 kids that went to college that has an IUL before to go to college, and they didn't use it because of scholarships and that kind of things. And they still have them and they can use it for whatever. So funding for college, funding for retirement, mortgage protection, estate planning.
Right.
And as I said before, there are a bunch of things that are not related to products that we can help to. That is the habits, mentality about money, the budget, education, and all the things that we don't think about it. Most Hispanic and Latins, I will say that most of their money goes from their hands without noticing.
Right.
Because it's like I work, I deserve it, I can spend it, I have it.
Reward.
This is my reward.
And now I have to work extra hard tomorrow because it's all gone. And so, and again, it goes back to what you were talking about a person's relationship with money. There's very different, depending on a person's personality, a person's background, how they were raised, how their parents, what their parents' relationship with money was. All of these things can contribute to somebody's attitude toward money, which, as you know, I've heard you talk about. It very much impacts how they interact with money in their adult life. So if you've always seen money as this source of stress, as this thing that's always a problem in your life, you are more likely to repeat those things that make money a problem, right? And so there is work that we can do, and that somebody can do with you to help change those attitudes about money and change their relationship with money and make it something that empowers you rather than something that's a constant source of stress and a drain of energy. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, totally. And another thing that I've been doing is that I've been developing other kind of products, intellectual property of myself, just to help people with that kind of things. Like, for example, money affirmations.
Money affirmations, I like that.
I have an agenda of productivity and prosperity, and it's all related to money, but to productivity too. Oh, and wow. I have an ebook that talks about the rat race and how to get out of the rat race in terms of the daily things that you do. That's exactly what I used to get out of the rat race in my case. So practically everything that I know from Alliance, for Five Rings, from my own experience, everything is compounded in something that I translate to that culture and to that language. And I'm giving everything away just for that dream, to help.
Yeah, to help.
To help and to really impact the community. In the travel that I've been doing, you don't have an idea how many people around the world is exactly the same that we are here in the United States.
Really?
Yeah, unbelievable. So if it's a worldwide situation and we are here and we have all the tools and all the privilege to learn this kind of information, why not to share it without any interest just to sell a product? Of course, I want to sell the products too, because we live, and like somebody one day, they told me, you are doing this for money. No, I'm not doing this for money. Yes, you are doing this for money too. And I say, okay, I agree with that.
You also have to, when you make sales and the more successful that you are, the more you can help more people, right? You're not going to be traveling around the world helping people.
The beautiful about this work is that your success is because you are helping people.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. I love it. So Annabella Aguilar, if somebody were to want to reach out to you to get to know more about what you're doing, and maybe even set up a chat with you, how might they get in touch with you?
Well, my phone number is 754-204-1162.
We can make sure that gets on the screen.
754-204-1162. And my email is Annabella, as my name, mky@gmail.com.
Annabella, that's with one N.
One N, double L.
That's right.
Italian name. And then if you want to take a look, it's all in Spanish. To my Instagram is Annabella Money.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
At Annabella Money. And we'll make sure all that information gets on the screen. Annabella, thank you so much for being our guest again.
Thank you for receiving me.
It was awesome to have you.
I totally love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing.
Very appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Listen to this interview and more on the Alliance Group podcast.